Aloha, everyone. Welcome to Java. Thank you for joining me. This is for Friday, August 18th, 2023. We are getting some crazy market action. We've got a lot of things to go through. So let's get into it. Our favorite risk indicator is still showing extremely high levels. However, it has come down a bit since yesterday. The market had a bit of a bleed off, but we were kind of expecting that. So thankfully, played against it and did pretty well, actually. We were watching Michael Burry. He must be really happy at the moment. So with the market, we're seeing that it did bleed off a bit. And we are watching the VIX, which is the volatility index, kind of a fear indicator. It's going up. Gold is going up a bit. It's still right at that 1920 level, just a bit above it. Oil kind of holding steady. So the big news is the US 10-year, because all of these we want to watch the debt market. And with that, it hit resistance, major resistance. It's 4.23. It's come down a little bit because that strengthens the dollar. And when the dollar gets strong, then it can buy more, including with equities. So that makes them appear cheaper or drops their price. Also hit cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is down about the 26.4 level. So I expect it to have a little more headwinds still. We'll see. The halving is happening soon. So we do have the BRICS are speaking early next week. I'll go over that on Sunday. However, for now, we do have Friday. We've got some warnings coming in as far as options. We are getting John Deere earnings. They make tractors, and so for me, it's kind of a lagging indicator for local food production, since that's kind of their business. So we've got warnings from Goldman Sachs. This one is older, talking about this. It stands for 0 days to expiration, 0 DTE. And basically, this is a leveraged stock option that does 100 to 1, not just one stock, but a contract of 100 stocks. And so they're saying that could be a deal for today because there's 2.2 trillion about to expire today. So this happens every Friday, actually, but there's quite a few betting against it today. So we will watch those, but we've got to move on for now. The Dow did end nearly 300 points lower. As I was saying yesterday, it's mostly because bond yields rose and strengthened the US dollar. So, how is this trickling down into our economy, which is what I really want to get to? The truth. The survey of businesses showing temporary hiring hits new high. Full-time hires plummet. So, what's going on here is companies don't want to commit to full-time employees. It costs them more in not just benefits, but also they're kind of committed to them and they're much more difficult to let go when the time comes. If you have a temporary hire, you don't have to worry about either unemployment costs, less unemployment costs, workers' compensation, and other benefits, and they're much easier to let go if they need to shrink their costs, which they all believe is coming. So we're on that teetering edge with employment as well. Yesterday said our employment numbers were good, but still over 250,000. So adding that up every week, our unemployment is over 1 million jobs lost per month currently. That's a lot of people to lose their jobs. So, okay, we'll move on with the next stories. Automakers facing uphill battle. Their inventory starting to pile up. And they've also got the United Auto Workers that might go on strike. So we've got 9 states now that have laws that have banned sales of gas-powered cars. That's terrible for our economy and kind of forcing them into the larger players are actually now Chinese electric vehicles. And we're watching a surge this morning in those companies. So car companies are also facing parts makers are struggling, and the current manufactured price for vehicles in the US is around $45,000. So people are taking out these huge loans and they're getting them at 9%. And that is going to be a problem not too long from now. Moving on to the mortgage industry, mortgage rates have surged now to a 21-year high. So we're above 7%. This is for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. We've also got this increasing pressure on Airbnbs as they are not making a profit. People are already beginning to slow down their travel, and so they're taking a hit. So all of these Airbnb owners that purchase these with zero money down have these large loans that are now increasing. They're going to be, it's kind of a shadow supply that's building up. Need to watch that. The big story that everybody's watching is China, of course. So Evergrande is filing for bankruptcy in New York. They're a large property developer in China. And since their collapse, there's several other major developers as well that are facing intense pressure. These include Kasia, Fantasia, Shimal Group, and also the one we've been speaking about lately, which is huge, Country Garden. So they're talking about restructuring their debt, which is basically the filing bankruptcy or looking for new investments. And interestingly enough, earlier this week, Dubai-based auto company announced that they would be putting in $500 million strategic investment into Evergrande's group in exchange for a stake of about 28%. So we have another company, kind of similar to our BlackRock in the US. It's called Zhongji, and they run a shadow banking empire as well. They're into a lot of asset management companies. They own 4 wealth management firms. They own a trust, and this major trust company owns more than 700 billion yuan of assets. So we're watching this company because they have strong links with all these banks and institutions, and the shadow finance sector is showing some weakness as well. So we have to watch this, as well as China's now state run bank are swapping dollars for yuan, strengthening their own currencies. We also watched Hong Kong electronics factory shut down. They've been around for decades, and they laid off their workforce. And I've got an interesting comment I would like to bring up after that. But for now, I want to hit a couple of other things on our updates: currency wars, resource wars. We've got a new alert that just came out from Christine Lagarde. I call her an IMF lizard because she runs the International Monetary Fund, or as we call it, the International Mafia Fund. So they've just put out, if you buy anything with €1,000 in cash, they're making it illegal. So €1,000 or more. And if you get caught doing this, they say you might enjoy a nice hefty fine or even jail time. So we are beginning with the capital controls. We also had a drone attack this morning in Moscow. So our war front is kind of heating up, not just there, but also around Taiwan, because they've got to keep that in the wings as a solution, this war thing going on. So I had another article that I thought was interesting, but it sheds the light on their purpose. They say that there is a major population correction coming for humanity. That means drop in population, they're going to kill people. And the story behind this is that there are around 8 billion people, and they're saying that is unsustainable. So they want to reduce our population. And here's the worst part. This is a quote. It says, only the rich and most resilient societies would be left. So that includes Davos and several others that believe that they are in charge of the rest of humanity. What do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts on that as far as who the quote unquote richest and most resilient societies would be left. Makes me very angry. Anyway, before I sign off with this, I do have a couple of comments I would like to address. Chris Russell, thank you for this, brought up a comment, said that this is coming, meaning war. Don't forget, China has a huge soldier-aged unemployment. What better way to get them to work than using a military conflict? And I think that's 100% spot on with the issue there, over 20%. But also got Old made a comment about the controlled market pullback. That this is, the quote goes, who's controlling the free market? Well, this is no free market. we no longer have a free market. It's no longer price discovery. We've got the plunge protection team, and we've got the major manipulations by the major banks. It's completely corrupt. So, with that, I'm going to leave you off. We do have tremendous opportunities coming. Hold some cash in the background and be ready for this. It's very close. So, with that, I wish you all a wonderful day or a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me again, and I will see you soon. Until then, my friends, stay free.